Hello friends, welcome to Learner's Planet. Friends, this is our third session for SSC CGL 2014 paper. This is a third set I'm taking in this session. Just be ready with your paper and pen and start solving the problems right with me. Okay, let's begin. For any integral value of n, 3 raised to 2n plus 9n plus 5 when divided by 3 will leave a remainder. Okay, so see, that really doesn't matter what is the value of n. You just find out the remainder in the three cases and add the final remainder. 3 raised to 2n divided by 3, 9n divided by 3 and 5 divided by 3. So this is first remainder, this is second remainder and this is the third remainder. Then add all the remainders. Now 3 raised to 2n, it is multiple of 3, so you won't be getting any remainder, so remainder is 0. 9n, it is multiple of 3, so remainder is 0. 5 divided by 3, remainder will be 2. So the total remainder is 0 plus 0 plus 2, that is 2. Very simple. So hardly any paperwork is required. Let's see the next one. Now this question, 3 men A, B and C working together can do a job in 6 hours less than A alone in 1 hour less time than B alone and in 1/2 the time needed by C when working alone. Then A and B together can do the job in. This question is a bit lengthy. If you don't want to solve in first go, then do not solve it, just mark it, and if at the end of the paper if you get time, then you can come back to this question, right? This sort of questions, because see here, hours less, hours more, that concept is used, so it is difficult for us to convert the data into fractions. So if we are not able to convert the data into fraction, we have to make equations, right? And that will be really time consuming. As of now I'm just solving, so you just come to know how to be solve it. I suppose A, B and C, they are taking in all x hours to complete the job. That means in 1 hour they'll be able to complete 1 upon x of the task. Now A should take 6 hours more. That means A is able to do 1 upon x plus 6 work in 1 hour, right? A will take x plus 6 hours to complete the work because he is taking 6 hours more than all the three together. So A will be taking x plus 6 hours, so in 1 hour A will be doing 1 upon x plus 6 of the work. Similarly, B is taking 1 hour more than A plus B plus C together. That means B will be taking x plus 1 hour. That means in 1 hour B will be doing x plus 1 of the work. Similarly, C is taking double than ABC together. That means in 1 hour C will be able to do 1/2 of the work, right? So it is 1 upon 2x. Precisely, C will be taking 2x time, and in 1 hour it will be doing he will be doing 1 upon 2x of the work, right? So if I just cancel it, I'll be getting this as 1 upon 2x. Now this is the work of A, this is the work of B, and this is A's 1 hour work, B's 1 hour work, and A and B combined 1 hour work. So precisely we have to get the value of this expression only, right? Now there are two ways. Either you choose the values of x from the options and put and satisfy them, but that will be really time consuming because there are 4 options. Any one of can be, maybe first is right, maybe second is right, so you cannot take chance. So I would suggest you just solve the equation, right? And just solve it very fast. See, x plus 1 into x plus c, that will be 2x plus 7 in the numerator, right? 2x plus 7 into 2x, so it is 4x square plus 14x is equal to x square plus 7x plus 6. So what you are getting, it is 3x square plus 7x minus 6 is equal to 0. Just go for factors. 3 into 6, 18. So factors will be 9 and 2. So 3x square plus 9x minus 2x minus 6 is equal to 0. We can take 3x as common, x plus 3, and here minus 2 will be common. So 3x minus 2 should be 0. So x is equal to 2 by 3. Right? That means if A, B and C, they are working together, they will be taking 2 by 3 of the hours. 2 by 3 hours. Right? And when A and B working together, they will be taking in 1 hour they will be doing 1 upon 2x of the work. Right? As we have already calculated. So in 1 hour they are able to do 1 upon 2x of the work. That means the total time they will take is 2x hours. right? So x is equal to 2 by 3. So 2 into 2 by 3, 4 by 3 hours. Sum is not difficult but bit time consuming, so you need to be careful. If at all you have time, then you just attempt these sort of questions. Otherwise, when we have time and work problem based on fractions, then they are very easy to solve. In seconds you can do it, but in this case it may take one more than a minute. This question is also based on the similar concept. Again, we don't have fraction values over here. Addition subtraction problem is there, and time and work, so it is also time consuming. So be careful. If at all you have time, then only attempt these sort of questions. Right now, the swimming pool is fitted with 3 pipes. The first 2 pipes working simultaneously fill the pool in the same time as the third pipe alone. The second pipe alone fills the pool 5 hours faster, and first pipe and 4 hours slower than the third pipe. In what time will the second and third pipes together fill the pool? Okay, so I assume it's A, B and C. The second pipe alone fills the pool 5 hours faster than the first pipe. I assume this the pipe 8 is taking x hours, then pipe will take x minus 5 hours, right, because it is 5 hours faster. And the pipe C, it is 4 hours faster than B, that means it is taking x minus 9 hours. Right now we have one equation. The first 2 pipes working simultaneously fill the pool in the same time as the third pipe alone. That means in 1 hour A will be filling 1 upon x part, B will be filling 1 upon x minus 5 part, and both of them will be filling 1 upon x minus 9 part, because capacity of A and B is equal to C. Right, C in 1 hour it will be filling 1 upon x minus 9 part. Right now, once again, you cannot choose the values of x from the options, because in option we have to find out the value of 1 upon x minus 5 plus 1 upon x minus 9. Right, so first of all let's find out the value of x. Just take LCM. X minus 5 plus x is equal to 2x minus 5 into x minus 9 is equal to x square minus 5x. So it is 2x square minus 5x minus 18x plus 45 is equal to x square minus 5x. So we'll be getting x square, then minus 5x and minus 5x cancel, minus 18x plus 45 is equal to 0. So it is actually x minus 3, x minus 15 is equal to 0. So x is equal to 3 or 15. So x cannot be taken as 3, so we have to choose x as 15. Okay, so now we have to find out in what time second and third pipe will fill the pool. So second pipe 1 upon x minus 5, x is 15, so in 1 hour it will be filling 1 upon 10 of the tank, and 15 minus 9 it is 6. So C will be filling 1 upon 6 of the tank, right? So it is 6 plus 10, 16 by 60 in 1 hour, or I can say 4 by 15 in 1 hour. So the complete tank will be filled up in 15 by 4. 15 by 4, that is 3.75 hours. Okay, bit lengthy, not at all difficult. So depends, if you have time then you can attempt these sort of questions. Otherwise in first go I would suggest you to drop, right? Because among 50 questions you can, if in first go if you drop 5 to 6 or 7, 8 questions, then it really doesn't matter, right? Because some question will be really very less time consuming. Okay, arrange the following in descending order. We get this okay, this is 4 raised to 1 by 3, 2 raised to 1 by 2, 3 raised to 1 by 6, 5 raised to 1 by 4. So what we can do is we can take LCM of 2, 3, 4 and 6, that is 12. So we arrange the 12th power of, so 12th power, in that case it will be 12 by 3, 4 raised to 4, 2 raised to 6, 3 raised to 2 and 5 raised to 3. 4 raised to 4, that is 256, 16 square. 2 raised to 6, it is 64, it is 9 and it is 125. Now it's very easy for you to arrange the numbers in descending order. The biggest one is 4, then we have 5, So 4, then 5, then 2, then 3. 4, 5, 2, 3. Okay, pretty simple. So these sort of questions can be done in 30 to 40 seconds. The volume of a right circular cylinder and a sphere are equal. The radius of the cylinder and diameter, if r of the sphere are equal, the ratio of height and radius of the cylinder is. Okay, a right circular cylinder, the volume is 1 upon 3 pi r square h. So it is 1 upon 3 pi r square h, that is equal to 4 upon 3 pi r cube. Now radius of the cylinder and diameter of the sphere is equal. So radius of the cylinder is r, I'm sorry, it is only pi r square. It is right circular cylinder, not cone. So volume will be pi r square h. The radius of the cylinder and diameter of the sphere are equal, right? Now radius of the cylinder is r, that means diameter of the cylinder is r, that means radius of the diameter of the sphere is r. So radius of the sphere will be r by 2. So it is r cube by 8. 4 upon 3 pi r cube, actually radius cube, so radius is r by 2, so the cube will be r cube by 8. Okay, now we have to find out the ratio of height and radius of the cylinder. So pi and pi is cancelled, this is r square, it is gone. So h by r is equal to 1 upon 6. Height is to radius 1 upon 6. Pretty simple. Let's see the next one. The wire of length 44 centimeter is first bent to form a circle and then rebent to form a square. The difference of the two enclosed areas is, okay, length is 44. So we can calculate the radius of the circle. 2 into 22 by 7 into r is equal to 44. So radius of the circle will be 7. So area will be pi r square, 22 by 7 into 7 into 7. So area of the circle will be 154. Right? Now square. Length is 44. That means perimeter of the square is 44. That means side is 11. Right? If side is 11, then area will be 121. So this is the area of circle, this is the area of square. So difference is 54 minus 154 minus 121, that is 33 centimeters square. Right? Pretty simple. A takes 3 times as long as B and C together to do a job. B takes 4 times as long as A and C together to do the work. If all the 3 working together can complete the job in 24 days, then the number of days A alone will take to finish the job. Okay, here among the options we have been given the number of days A would take to complete the job, right? It may be 100, 96, 95 and 90. The first thing is A takes 3 times as long as B and C together, right? That means if A is taking 100 days, B and C together should take 100 by 3, right? But that will be fraction. Okay, so in first go we'll eliminate the numbers whose 1/3 will not be an integers, will not be integer. So 195 we eliminate, right? Now we take 96. That means if A is taking 96 days to complete the work, or 96 days to complete the work, that means B and C together will take 1 upon 96, that is 1 by 3rd of 96, that is 32 hours, right? Now A is doing 1 upon 96 work in 1 day. B and C together are doing 1 upon 32 work per day, and that means that this is the 1 day work of A, B and C. Now what it is 1 plus 3, that is 4 by 96, or 1 upon 24 work per day. That means A, B and C together will take 24 days, that is given over here. That means we can verify that 96 is the correct choice. That means A would take 96 days to complete the work. If at all you start making the equation, it will be time consuming process. Okay, so 96 is the correct choice. I hope you are getting my point. A is taking 96 hours, that means B and C together will take 32 hours. So in 1 hour A will be doing days. In one day A will be doing 1 upon 96 of the work, B will, and C together will be doing 1 upon 32 of the work. So this is A, this is B and C. So A plus B plus C, they will be doing 1 upon 24 of the work per day. That means in 24 days they will be able to complete the work, which is already given over here, right? So I hope you are getting it. A shopkeeper allows a discount of 10% on the mark price of an item but charges a sales tax of 8% on the discounted price. If the customer pays rupees 3402 as a price including the sales tax, then marked price is okay. So I assume the mark price is X, right? Then first of all, the customer is getting 10% discount. That means he has to pay 9 by 10 of X. On this price, he has to pay 8% of sales tax. That means the price including sales tax will be this, right? Price plus 8% of the sales tax, that means 1.08 of discounted price, and that is actually 3402. Okay, I guess 3402 should be multiple of 108 and 9. So just cancel it. It is 9, 3s are 27, 7, 0, 9, 7 are 63, 7, 2, 9, 8s are 72. Okay. 108 into 3 is 324 and 2, 4, 78, 8, 4 and 5. That is half of this. So this is 3.5 times. 378 is 3.5 times. So 3.5 into 10 into 100, that is 3500. Pretty simple. The milk and water into vessel A and B are in the ratio 4:3 and 2:3 respectively. In what ratio the liquids in both the vessel be mixed to obtain a new mixture in vessel C containing half milk and half water? Okay, so milk in the first container is 4/7. Then milk in the second container is 2/5, right? We want half milk, half water. That means 1/2 of milk. So simply alligation method can be used, right? So it is 1/2, 2/5. So it is 5 minus 4. That is 1/2 into 5. Then this is 8 minus 7, 1/2 into 7. 2 and 2 is cancelled. 1/5 is to 1/7, that is 7:5. Okay, must attend the alligation mixture session if you are not clear. Two numbers A and B are such that sum of 5% of A and 4% of B is 2/3 of the sum of 6% of A and 8% of B. The ratio A is to B. See, in the left hand side you are adding 5% of A and 4% of B. On right hand side you are taking 6% of A and 8% of B. So you just cancel all the percentage sign from left hand side and right hand side. So precisely what you are getting, 5A plus 4B is equal to 2/3 of 6A plus 8B. Okay, so here it is 15A minus 12A, right? 3 into 5, 15A minus 12A, so it is 3A, and this side it is 12B, and here this side it is 16B. So 16B minus 12B, 4B. Okay, so A by B is equal to 4/3. A is to B, 4 is to 3. I hope you are clear. The average marks obtained by 40 students of a class is 86. If the 5 highest marks are removed, the average reduces by 1 mark. The average marks of the top 5 students is. I assume the average marks of the top 5 student is X. Now I have already discussed this thing in basic sessions of averages, the concept of deviation, right? Here I am having two groups, 35 students and 5 students, right? 35 students, the average is 85 because average reduces by 1 mark if 5 students are removed. right? So 35 students, average is 85. That means the deviation is 35 into minus 1, right? So the deviation is minus 35 plus. Now we assume the average marks of these 5 students to be x. So deviation will be 5 times x minus 86, and that should be 0, right? So 5x minus 5 into 86, 5 6 are 30, 5 8s are 40, and 3, it should be 35. So 5x is equal to 430 plus it must be 465. So x must be this 5, 9 and 3. Okay. So the average marks of the top 5 students that we assume to be x, and x is equal to 93. Pretty simple. Just do it once again. 35 and 5, 2 groups are there. 35 students, the average is 85. So the deviation is, total deviation is 35 into minus 1, because average reduces by 1 mark. So 35 student, average deviation is minus 1, so total deviation is minus 35. Then in the second group we have 5 students, their average is x, so deviation will be x minus 86, right? Because x will be bigger than 86, obviously, then only, because this 85 is less than 86, so the higher mark should be more than 86, right? So average must, deviation must be x minus 86. Okay, deviation of each student. Okay, so this is average deviation. Total 5 students are there, so total deviation is 5 times x minus 86. So sum of deviations must be 0. So from this we can calculate the value of x, that is 93. You can also use alligation method to solve this problem. We have 40 students with 2 groups, 35 and 5, right? Now 35 students, average is 85. 5 students, we have to find out the average, and overall average is 86. Okay, now it should be 86 minus x, and it should, I'm sorry, this should be x minus 86, and over here it should be 86 minus 5, that is 1 by 1, and the ratio of these 2 students is 35 is to 5, that is 7 is to 1. Okay, so that can be easily calculated. X is equal to 86 plus 7, that is 93. So you can go this way or this way, you'll be getting the same answer, but both the approaches should be clear. Depends upon the situation which approach you should take. Okay. A student finds the average of 10 two-digit numbers. If the digit of one of the number is interchanged, the average increases by 3.6. The difference between the digit of the two-digit number is, so many times I have discussed this concept. Any two-digit number that is in format of 10x plus y, the reverse number will be in the format of 10y plus x. So difference between the two is always a multiple of y, 9. Right, and if you divide this by 9, you'll be getting the difference between the digits, right? I just do it once again. Any number, maybe you talk about, I just take some of the space over here, wait for a moment. Any two-digit number, suppose I am having 53, so 53 minus 35, that is 18. Right, so any two-digit number and the reverse digit number, the difference is always multiple of 9, right? And you divide this difference by 9, you'll be getting the difference between the digits, right? So here the average increases by 3.6. That means the total must be increased by 36, right? Because there are 10 numbers, average difference is 3.6. That means the total difference will be 3.6 into 10, 36, right? We have to find out the difference between the digits. So divide 36 by 9, you'll be getting the difference between the digits, that's 4. The same thing. Okay, if you have any number, suppose say 16, 15 and 51. Okay, so initially the number is 51, but it is written as 15, so difference between these two is 36. You can just check it. So the same problem is over here. So the difference between the digits of the two-digit number is nothing but 4. And this concept I have already explained in detail in our basic sessions of calculation. So just attend the basic sessions if you are not able to understand this. A trader buys goods at 20% discount on marked price. If we want to make a profit of 25% after allowing a discount of 20%, by what percent should his marked price be greater than the original marked price? So I assume the original mark price, that is, this is 100, right? So mark price is 100, his cost price is 80. He wishes to make the profit of 25%, that means selling price of this trader must be 25%, that is 100. Okay? And that includes 20% discount. So mark price, suppose it is X, mark price by this trader is suppose X, so 80% of this is 100, right? So it should be 125. Okay, original mark price is 100, the mark price of this trader is 125, so it should be 25% greater than the original mark price. Okay. So when he gives 20% discount on original mark price, that will be 100 rupees. So his selling price is 100 rupees, cost price is 80 rupees. So he'll be getting 25% profit. Next is, a man spends 75% of his income. Okay, his income increases by 20%, expenditure. Okay. Initially, I assume income is 100. Spending spend 75% of his income, spending is 75, and saving is 25. Okay, his income increases by 20%, so the new income is 120, and his expenditure also increases by 10%. So 75 plus 7.5, that is 82.5. Okay, so saving will be 17.5 plus 20, so that's 37.5. Okay, so initially saving was 25, now it is 37.5, so difference is 12.5, that is 50% of this. So percentage of increase in his saving is 50%. Pretty simple. A train leaves a station A at 7 a.m. and reaches another station B at 11 a.m. Another train leaves B at 8 a.m. and reaches A at 11:30 a.m. The two trains cross one another at. Okay, what I do is I assume the distance between A and B is x kilometer. Now the first train cover x kilometer in 4 hours. So its speed is x by 4 kilometer per hour. And the second train covers this x distance in 3.5 hours. So its speed is 2x by 7 kilometer per hour, right? So this is the speed of train A, this is the speed of train B. Now we have to find out when they are going to meet. The first train starts at 7 and the second train starts at 8. So in 1 hour, this train might have covered up x by 4 kilometer, because it is covering x by 4 kilometer per hour, right? So it might have covered up x by 4 kilometer. Okay, in 1 hour. After that, the second train is starting. See, the situation is after 1 hour, the train A is here, the train B is here. Now their relative speed, because now this is also running, this is also running, and they are running towards each other. So their relative speed will be nothing but their total speed. Okay, that is addition of their speed, and they have to cover up this distance. This distance is what? The total distance is x, and x by 4 is already covered up, so this distance is nothing but 3x by 4. Now their relative speed is x by 4 plus 2x by 7. Or alternatively, what you can do is now after 8 o'clock, this train and this train, they are meeting after t hours. So in t hours, this train will run for x by 4 kilometer per hour into distance is equal to speed into time, right? So speed is x by 4 kilometer per hour. In t hours, it will be running for x by 4 into t distance. So this is the distance of 1 hour, this is the distance of next t hours, and this train will cover up 2x by 7 into t distance, right? So from this point to this point, this is the total distance, right? And from this point to this point, this is x by 4 distance, and this is the total distance from this point to this point. Okay, for first hour x by 4, in the remaining time x by 4 into t plus 2x by 7 into t. So x can be taken as common and can be cancelled. So it is t by 4 plus 2t by 7, we can take LCM, it is 7t plus 8t by 28, right? 7t plus 8t, that is 15t, I'm sorry, 15t by 28 is equal to 1 minus 1 by 4, that is 3 by 4. Okay, so t is it is 7, t is equal to 7 by 5 hours, or we convert it into minutes. So it is 84 minutes after 8 o'clock, right? Because the other train is starting after 8. So 84 minutes after 8 o'clock, that is 9:24. Okay, 1 hour and 24 minutes. Right? So if you are not clear with the explanation for the first time, do revise it once again, because these sort of problems are very commonly asked in SSC exams. Okay. A fruit seller buys some oranges, and by selling 40% of them, he realizes the cost price of all the oranges. As the oranges being to grow overripe, he reduces the price and sells 80% of the remaining oranges at half the previous rate of profit. The rest of the oranges being rotten are thrown away. The overall percentage profit is. Okay, I assume he has bought 100 oranges and each orange for 1 rupee, right? Quantity, price, total cost, selling price. Okay, quantity 100, price at the rate of rupees 1, so total cost is 100 rupees. Okay, now he is selling 40% of them, that is 40 rupees. The cost price must be 40 rupees only, but the selling price is 100, because he realized the cost price of all the oranges. Okay, so selling price of 40 oranges is 100 rupees. That means profit is what? It is 2.5 times, so profit is 150%. Okay. Cost price is 40, selling price is 100, so 100 by 40, selling price is 2.5 times, so profit is 2.5 minus 1, 1.5 times, that is 150% of the profit. Okay. Now next is, as the oranges being to grow overripe, he reduces the price and sells 80% of the remaining. See, remaining is 100 minus 40, 60. So remaining is 60, and 80% of 60 is 48. Okay, and selling price is when he is taking profit as 75% now. That means selling price of each is 1.75. Okay, so total selling price is 48 into 1.75, and remaining rest of the oranges being rotten are thrown away. The overall percentage of the profit is, so I just divide it by 100, 25, 7, 25, 4, so it is 12 into 7, 84. So the total selling price is 184, cost price is 100, so percentage profit is 84. Okay. X is a rational number, and x plus 1 whole cube minus x minus 1 whole cube, this expression is 2. Then sum of numerator and denominator of x. So precisely we have to find out the value of x first of all, right? So here we can use the formula for a cube minus b cube, that is a minus b. So a minus b will be x plus 1 minus x plus 1. Then we have a square, that is x square plus 2x plus 1 plus b square and minus ab. So that is x square minus 1, so it is minus x square plus 1. So that is there in the numerator, and in the denominator a square minus b square. So it is a minus b into a plus b. So a minus b, that is x plus 1 minus x plus 1, and a plus b is x plus 1 plus x minus 1, right? So here x and x is cancelled, 2x is cancelled, x square is cancelled. So we are having 2 into x square plus 3 in the numerator, and in the denominator we have this and this is cancelled, 2 into 2x, and this is actually 2. So precisely x square plus 3 is equal to 4x, or we can say x square minus 4x plus 3 is equal to 0. So if we factorize this, we'll be getting x minus 1, x minus 3 is 0. So x is equal to 1 or 3, right? So if x is equal to 1, sum of numerator and denominator will be 2 only, but that's not there in the option. So we take x is equal to 3. In that case, sum of numerator and denominator will be 4, right? That is 3 by 1. So 3 plus 1, 4. Pretty simple. The area in square unit of triangle formed by graphs x is equal to 4, y is equal to 3, and 3x plus 4y is equal to 12. Okay, so I just draw the diagram. 3x plus 4y is equal to 12. That means when x is equal to 0, y is equal to 3. So it is 0, 3. When y is equal to 0, x is equal to 4. So it is 4, 0. Okay. So we got a triangle. X is equal to 4. So x is equal to 4 is this line. Y is equal to 3, that is this line, right? So we are getting this triangle. So this triangle and this triangle, both of them are same. Okay, so this is 3, this is 4. So area will be half of 3 into 4, that is half of 12, that is 6, right? The equations this and this have the solutions a, b, the value of a plus b. Okay, so this is precisely an ordered pair, x and y. So we have to find out the value of x and y. So for that we need to solve the equation. What I do is I multiply this equation by 3, right? So and add both of them. So 4 and this is just cancelled. 10y is equal to 40. That means y is equal to 4, right? 10y, 6 plus 4, 4 plus 6, 10y is equal to 40. Y is equal to 4. So if I put y is equal to 4 over here, 3x is equal to 10 minus 16, that means minus 6, that means x is equal to minus 2. Okay, so this is a, this is b, so a plus b is 4 minus 2, that is 2. Pretty simple. Now this problem, x is equal to root 5 plus 2, then the value of this expression is, okay, options are not integral values. And here we can say the numerator can be factorized, but the denominator cannot be factorized, right? So what is the alternative with us? We just do x minus 2 is equal to root 5. So if x minus 2 is equal to root 5, that means x square minus 4x plus 4 is equal to 5. Or I can say x square minus 4x is equal to 1, right? Or okay, let's see over here. 2x square minus 3x minus 2, we cannot get the value of this expression. So what we can do is I just write here 2x square minus 2 as 2x square minus 1 minus 3x upon 3x square minus 1 minus 4x, right? So x square minus 1, you can see from here x square minus 1 will be 4x, right? So 2 into 4x, that is 8x minus 3x, 5x, and x square minus 1 further 4x. So 4 3s are 12x minus 4x, 8x. Okay, so it is 5 by 8. So 5 by 8 is nothing but 0.625. Right? So there is no other method to solve this problem in this limited amount of time. So when you see when x, the value of x is in some irrational number, right, like this, then what you have to do, the first step, just take all the integral values on the left hand side, then square both the side. You will be getting at least some clue how to solve this problem, this sort of problems. Okay, and if you square x square is equal to root 5 plus 2 whole square, then you will stack up definitely. Okay, so always shift integral part to left hand side, then only do the squaring of both the sides, so the square root will be totally eliminated, right? Let's see the next one. A is this, B is this, C is this, value of A cube plus B cube. So this is a standard problem. A cube plus B cube plus C cube will be 3ABC if A plus B plus C is 0. 99% in 99% cases this funda will work. Now here A plus B is equal to C, right? That means A plus B plus C is equal to 0, right? 2, 3, 5, 5, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 3, 5, 5. Right? That means A plus B plus C is 0. That means A cube plus B cube plus C cube is equal to 3ABC. So 3ABC minus 3ABC, it is 0. Right? This problem, x square plus y square plus 1 is equal to 2x and value of x cube plus y 5. We cannot derive x cube plus y raised to 5 directly from this expression, right? That means there is some alternative strategy. I shift 2x this side. So x square minus 2x plus 1 plus y square is 0. Precisely x minus 1 whole square plus y square is 0. Now this is a square term, this is a square term, and sum of both of them is 0. So that is actually not possible unless until both of them are individually 0. Right? That means this is also 0, this is also 0. That means x minus 1 is 0 and y is 0. So if x minus 1 is 0, x will be equal to 1 and y will be y square is 0. That means y is equal to 0. So x cube plus y 5. So x cube will be 1, y raised to 5 will be 0. So your answer is 1. So this is going to be an important concept. If a square plus b square plus c square is 0, that means all of them should be 0, right? A square should be 0, that means a must be 0, b must be 0 and c must be 0. Otherwise it is not possible being real numbers. A square plus b square plus c square is 0, right? So this is the concept we have used over here. If 3a square plus b square plus c square a plus b plus c whole square, then the relationship between a, b and c. See, in here in this relation you do not see any specific weightage is given to any variable, that is a, b or c, right? So you cannot say whether a, b, c in this order, they have to be equal to each other, right? It is an unbiased relation, so that is possible only when all of them are equal. Okay, no need to calculate. That will be a sheer time wastage. Now problem from trigonometry. A plus b whole square, just open it up. Sine square alpha plus cosec square alpha plus 2 plus cos square alpha plus sec square alpha plus 2, right, is equal to a plus tan square alpha plus cot square alpha. Now sine square alpha plus cos square alpha is 1. So just remove this. I am writing down a 1. Now here I am having cosec square alpha and sec square alpha, but on the right hand side we have tan square alpha plus cot square alpha, right? So what we can do is we can convert cosec square alpha into cot square alpha. So cosec square alpha is 1 plus cot square alpha and sec square alpha is 1 plus tan square alpha, right? So here you can see we have cot square alpha, tan square alpha, cot square alpha, tan square alpha, right? Cosec is finished, sec is finished. So on the left hand side we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. That is the value of k, right? Pretty simple. The angle of elevation of the top of a vertical tower situated perpendicularly on a plane is observed as 60 degree from a point P. Okay, this is point P. This is 60 degree on the same plane from another point Q 10 meter vertically above the point P. Okay, this is 10 meter above the point P. This is point Q. The angle of depression of the foot of the tower is 30 degree. Okay, so this angle is 30 degree. The height of the tower is, okay, so This is 10 that is given to us. I assume this distance to be x, and in this triangle I assume this to be h, right? Now perpendicular by base, the relationship is given by tan theta. So h plus 10 by x is equal to tan 60 degree, that is root 3. So this is the first relation. Second relation we can get from here, 10 by x, that is perpendicular by base, is equal to tan theta, tan 30 degree, so it is 1 upon root 3. So x is equal to 10 root 3. So if I put x is equal to 10 root 3 over here, so h plus 10 by 10 root 3 is equal to root 3, that means h plus 10 is equal to 10 root 3 into root 3, 30, that means h is equal to 20. So this distance is, this height is 20. The height of the tower is 20 plus 10, that is 30. Right? So pretty simple problem from height and distance can be done in 1 minute, less than a minute. Sine 21 is equal to x by y, sec 21 is this, sine 69 is this. Okay, we have discussed that so many times. Sine 90 minus theta is cos theta. So sine 69 will be nothing but cos 21. So it is precisely sec 21 minus cos 21. Okay, now sine 21 is given to us, and this is x, this is y, that means this must be y square minus x square, right? Perpendicular by hypotenuse, that is sine theta. So by Pythagoras theorem we can calculate the length of the base, that is root of y square minus x square. Now sec 21, that is sec theta is reciprocal of cos theta. Cos theta will be root of y square minus x square by y. Root of y square minus x square by y, right? That is cos 21. Okay, what I do is I directly write sec 21 or sec theta. So sec theta is hypotenuse by base. So it is y upon root of y square minus x square. Sometimes to save the time and space, what you can do, you just assume this sort of expression to maybe root k, right? So that will be simpler for you. Minus sine, cos 21 is base upon hypotenuse. So it is root k upon y. So it is precisely y square minus root k, that is k square, root k, that is k only. So it is minus y square plus x square upon, in the denominator we have y root k, that is y root y square minus x square. So in the numerator we have x square, in the denominator we have root of y square minus x square. Okay, and y. So we have y, in the numerator we have x square, y, and y square minus x square. Okay, I hope you are clear. Now this one, if sec alpha plus tan alpha is 2, then the value of sin alpha is, okay, sec alpha is 1 upon cos alpha and tan alpha is sin alpha by cos alpha. So we take LCM, it will be 1 plus sin alpha by cos alpha. So on the right hand side it is 2 cos alpha. Okay, now just square both the sides. 1 plus sin square alpha plus 2 sin alpha is equal to 4 cos square alpha, right? Since I want the value of sin alpha, I'll convert cos square alpha to sin square alpha, that is 1 minus sin square alpha. Okay, so it is actually 4 minus 4 sin square alpha. Take everything on the same side. So 4 sin square alpha will be getting 5 sin square alpha, then plus 2 sin alpha, and then if this 4 comes this side, so we have positive 1 minus 4, so it is minus 3 is equal to 0. Okay, so we have 5 sin square alpha plus 2 sin alpha minus 3 is equal to 0. We can factorize this. The breakup of 2 will be 5 and 3. So here it is 5 sin square alpha plus, or just replace sin square alpha by x square. So it is 5x square plus 5x minus 3x minus 3 is equal to 0. 5x, x plus 1 minus 3, x plus 1 is 0. So x is equal to 3 by 5 or minus 1. right? That means sine alpha is either 3 by 5 or minus 1, right? But since alpha is in first quadrant, sine theta will be positive, so it has to be 3 by 5, that is 0.6. Okay. 3 sin theta plus 5 cos theta is 5, then the value of 5 sin theta minus 3 cos theta. See, whenever you see the coefficients are getting exchanged, here 3 sin theta, here 5 sin theta, here 5 cos theta, here 3 cos theta, right? So whenever you see the coefficients are exchanged, so just one way to solve this problem. Okay, what you do is you just square this. So here you will be getting 9 sin square theta plus 25 cos square theta, then plus 5 into 3, 15 2s are 30 sin theta cos theta is equal to 25, right? Next step is, since we want 5 sin theta, so what we do is instead of sin square theta, I write cos 1 minus cos square theta. So it will be 9 minus 9 cos square theta. Then here I want 5 sin theta, so I'll write cos square theta as 1 minus sin square theta. So it is 25 minus 25 sin square theta. Here it is no change because it is anyway 5 sin theta into 3 cos theta into 2 will be 30 sin theta cos theta itself. Okay, next is minus 9 cos square theta minus 25 sin square theta plus this. So if I take minus s common, what I'll be getting? 9 plus 25 minus this is 3 cos theta minus 5 sin theta whole square. This and this. Okay, getting my point? If you expand it, it will be 9 cos square theta plus 25 sin square theta minus 30 sin theta cos theta. But since I have taken minus s common, so it is positive sign over here, right? So this is whole square of this is equal to 25. That's already there, right? So this and this is cancelled. That means this expression, the whole square is equal to precisely 9, right? 3 cos theta minus 5 sin theta whole square is equal to 9 if it goes to right hand side, because there's a minus sign over here. So 3 cos theta minus 5 sin theta will be plus minus 3, right? So there is just a single method to solve this problem. Okay, so be careful about it. And if you are not clear for the first time, just copy the sum on your notebook and try to do in the same manner, right? Within a trial, within a 1 or 2 trial, you'll be able to do this. Okay, let's see the next one. Now this problem is very simple. Tan theta plus cot theta is equal to 2, then tan 5 theta plus cot 5 theta is. Actually tan theta plus cot theta, in both the cases the angle is same. So we have to find out an angle when tan theta and cot theta both of them are equal and 1, right? So that's actually theta is equal to 45 degree. So tan 45 is also 1 and cot 45 is also 1, since tan and cot they are reciprocal of each other, right? That means tan theta is 1 and cot theta is 1 when theta is equal to 45 degree. So when tan theta is 1, tan 5 theta will be 1, cot theta is 1, cot 5 theta will also be 1. So 1 plus 1, still your answer is 2. Okay, so no paperwork is required at all. This problem, ABCD is a parallelogram in which diagonals AC and BD intersect at O. If E, F, G, H are midpoints of this respectively, then ratio of perimeter of the perimeter of parallelogram ABCD is. Okay, I draw the parallelogram ABCD, that's A, B, C, D, diagonals, that's point O, and E, F, G are midpoints of A, O, E, D, O, C, O and this. Okay, so precisely we are getting one more parallelogram, right? So we have to find out the ratio of this parallelogram, that's maybe EFGH, EFGH to the perimeter of this parallelogram ABCD. Okay, now see this line EH, that is actually E is the midpoint of this. If we consider triangle OAB, E is the midpoint of this line OA, and H is the midpoint of this line OB, and this is a parallelogram, so obviously this line is parallel to this. So according to midpoint theorem, if This is the midpoint of this line and this is the midpoint of this line, and this line is parallel to this line, then length of this line will be half of length of AB. Okay, length of this line is will be half of length AB. This is midpoint theorem. Okay, so this is suppose 10. Okay, and this is suppose 8. So perimeter of this initial parallelogram is 10 plus 8, 18 by 2, 30, 18 into 2, 36, right? So but in this case it will be 5 and it will be 4, right? So 5 plus 4, 9 into 2, 18. So ratio is 1:2. Okay, so this is over here we used midpoint theorem. If we match the midpoints of the two sides and the line is parallel to the third line, then the length of this line will be half of the third line. Okay, so this is half of this, similarly this is half of this is half of this, and this is half of this. Okay, so you can take any data, you can assume. Otherwise, if you don't want to assume anything, it's pretty simple, because if length is done half, perimeter will also be half. So it's 1/2. A simplest value of 10(1), 10(2), 10(3). Okay, that's pretty simple. 10(1) and 10(89). If you join them, 10(89) is nothing but cot 1, right? 10(90) minus theta is cot theta. So 10(1) cot 1, 10(2) cot 2, 10(3) cot 3. So all of them will be producing the values as 1, because 10 and cot, they are reciprocal of each other, right? And in between will be getting 1045, which is already 1, right? So precisely the value of this expression is nothing but 1. Okay. The length of the tangent from an external point to the circle is this if radius is this, distance of the point from the circle is. Okay, this is the circle, this is tangent. This angle must be 90 degree. The length of the tangent from an external point is 5√3. So this length is 5√3. Radius is 5. So this is a right angle triangle. So we can calculate this length, this to this, right? So that will be 5√3 square plus 5 square. So 5√3, that is 75 plus 2500. So this length is 10. The distance of the point from the circle. So precisely we have to find out this distance. Okay, we have got this entire length. From this length we want to have just this length only. So from this entire length, if we deduct radius, that is 5, we'll be able to get this length. So the total length is 10 from this point to this point. So from that, if I deduct this portion, that is 5 radius of the circle, so I'll be able to get the length of this portion. So 10 minus 5, 5, right? In triangle ABC, angle C is an obtuse angle. The bisectors of exterior angles at A and B meets BC and AC produced at D in E respectively. If AB, AD, BE, then angle ACB is. Okay, I just draw a sketch over here. Though you don't need in your exam, but for the concept clarity, I wish to do this. Okay, so this is the triangle ABC, right? This is angle C. These two are acute angles, and bisector of external angle A and bisect angle at A and B meets BC. Okay, so precisely just can say this will be the diagram. Okay, so this is A, B, C. This is angle bisector. So this angle is equal to this angle, and similarly this is angle bisector, so this angle is equal to this angle, right? Not drawn to scale, and BC and DC produced at D and E respectively. So this is point D, this is point E. AB is equal to AD. So AB is equal to AD and is equal to BE. Then angle ACB. We want to find this angle. Okay, obtuse angle C. Now in triangle ADB, this side is equal to this side. That means angle opposite to them will be equal. Suppose this is angle theta, then this will also be angle theta. Similarly in triangle EBA, this side is equal to this side, right? So if it is angle maybe alpha, this will also be angle alpha. And I assume this to be angle beta. Now beta plus alpha plus theta is 180. Now we have to find out beta. Now if we take this triangle, this exterior angle will be 180 minus interior angle, that is alpha, right? So this portion and this portion, this is angle bisector, so this portion will be 180 minus alpha by 2, right? Now if you look at the entire calculation, the entire scenario, see this angle is 180 minus alpha by 2, and this will similarly be 180 minus theta by 2, right? This triangle and this triangle, right? So what we will be able to get here in this triangle, theta plus this plus this plus theta, it should be 180 degree, and over here alpha plus theta plus this should be 180 degree, right? So symmetric situation is there, unbiased situation is there, so we'll be getting alpha is equal to theta, obviously. Now if alpha is equal to theta, then theta, we can take any of the triangle, alpha plus this is also alpha plus 180 by 2, that is 90, minus theta is alpha by 2 is 180 degree. Okay, so 3 alpha minus alpha by 2, that is 7 alpha by 2, 5 alpha by 2. So alpha will be 180 by 5, 36 degree. So this is 36, this is 36, 72. So the remaining angle is 108, right? Bit lengthy, but not at all difficult. But yeah, sure, if you know the property already, then you should try. Otherwise, on the first go, you should leave this sort of problems. Let's take the next one. ABC is an equilateral triangle and O is the circumcenter, then angle AOC is. Okay, so this is the situation, this is angle O. We want angle AOC. So we know the property from the same arc, the angle at the center is double than that of angle at any other part, right? Now this angle is 60 degree because it is an equilateral triangle, so it has to be 120 degree. So if you know the basic concepts of circles and triangles, you can do this problem in seconds, 20 to 30 seconds, not more than that. ABCD is a cyclic quadrilateral. The side AB, okay, first of all we draw the triangle the quadrilateral AB, A, B, C, D. The side AB is extended in such a way to E that BE is equal to BC. BE is equal to BC. This length is equal to this length. ADC is 70 degree. This is 70 degree. BAD is 95, BAD this is 95, DCE we have to find out, DCE, that means this complete angle we have to find out. Now since ABCD is a cyclic quadrilateral, sum of opposite sides, opposite angles must be 180 degree. So if it is 70 degree, it has to be 110. If it is 110, then this portion must be 70. So if this is 70 and this side is equal to this side, so each angle must be of 55 degree. So this portion is 55 degree. Okay, only this portion. Okay. Similarly, angle A plus angle C will also be 180. So if it is 95, it has to be 85. This portion has to be 85. So the sum is 180. So this is 85, this is 55. So the total angle will be 85 plus 55. Okay. Simple. You must be knowing that sum of opposite angles in a cyclic quadrilateral is 180 degree. That is the only thing we are going to use over here to solve this problem. Right? In triangle PQR, S and T are points on sides PR and PQ respectively. Okay. So this is triangle PQR. S and T. Okay, this is S and T. S is on PR and okay, such that angle PQR is equal to PST. PQR. This angle is equal to this angle. If PT is equal to 5, PS is equal to 3, TQ is equal to 3, length of SR. Okay, we have already done this sort of problem in our previous session in the second session of SSC CGL 2014 paper. Now this is the common angle in triangle P, TS and triangle PQR, right? So this angle is common between the two and this angle is equal to this angle. That means triangle PTS and triangle PQR, both of them are similar to each other. If the triangles are similar to each other, then their sides will be in proportion, right? Now how do we take the sides in proportion? Just listen to me carefully. I take the smaller triangle PST. The side opposite to this common angle, angle P, is TS. In this bigger triangle, it is QR. Is equal to side opposite to equal angles. So here it is PT, that is 5, right? And here it is angle Q, so that is actually PR, or I can say 3 plus X. SR is X, right? Then the third side is 3, that is this, by in this case it is 8. Okay, this is QR, PR and PQ. Okay, so 3 plus X, 5 upon 3 plus X is equal to 3 by 8. So we can calculate 8 5s are 40 is equal to 9 plus 3X. Okay, so 3X is equal to 40 minus 9, that is 31. So X is 31 by 3. Okay, so we want length SR, that is X, that is 31 by 3, right? Then the next one, two circles of radii this and this, their centers being 13 centimeter apart. Then the length of direct common tangent. Okay, we draw the diagram. Two circles of radii 7 centimeter and 2 centimeter. Their centers being 13 centimeter apart. So their common tangent. This is their common tangent. We have to find the length of this. This is okay. We have already done this sort of problem earlier. Okay, this will be the structure. Here it is 2. This is I'm sorry, this is 2. So this must be 5, not drawn to scale. This is 2. The radius of the smaller circle is 2. So this will be a rectangle. This angle is 90 degree. This angle is 90 degree. Okay, in the previous session we have already done this problem. So here it is 2. Here it is 2. This is 5. This is 13. That means this must be 12. Right? So length of the common tangent will be 12. No need to do it once again. Just attend the previous session if you are not clear. Okay. So move further. So did most of the sums of this set also. I'll see you in the next session. Do revise this session and the previous ones. So bye bye.